hearty and healthy Irish hello. You're listening to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show just for men and all things manly. And of course, you're listening at KOWS 92.5 FM, Occidental, California. Or if you're on the wacky and wonderful World Wide Web, you can check us out at KOWS.FM. F for Frank and M for Matilda. Special effects at no extra charge. All right, boy, we got a great show for you on the Celtic Coach Radio Show this week. We're going to be talking about what if the unknown could be the FunKnown. Now, what do you hear when you hear that? What if the unknown could be the FunKnown? Another way of thinking about that, or since I'm Irish, I'll throw it out another way. I'm supposed to have the gift of the gab. I don't know if that's true, but I'll throw it out in any case. What if the unknown... Wait a minute, that's an English accent. Let's try a Scottish. What if the unknown could be the FunKnown? Or what if the unknown could be the fun zone? In other words, we spend an inordinate, and I do mean inordinate, that's my new word, amount of time running away from the unknown and trying to make everything in our lives fit into the known. You ever noticed that? Now, I personally, my life is like a speed bump, right? It's up and down, up and down, up and down. There's no way to fit an unknown life into a known life. It's not possible. When I was a kid, I used to have a real fear of diapers. But since then, I've grown out of it. Yeah, I've grown into other things. I've taken the fear of... That was supposed to be a joke, by the way. You know, you grow out of the diapers. Okay, so when I wrote it, I didn't think it was that good. But I thought I'd throw it out anyway. How about my life is like a paintbrush? It's up and down, up and down, up and down. That's a little better, Dermot. Thank you. You know, wouldn't it be interesting, or wouldn't it be fascinating, or actually, wouldn't it be amazing, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, gentlemen, and all the ladies. I know there's a lot of ladies listening from all over the planet. We have ladies from all over different countries throughout the world. I think like 10 countries now. So welcome to everyone. Really appreciate that you listen in every Friday from 1 to 2 here on KOWS.FM. It's the Celtic Coach Radio Show. Really appreciate that. Pretty awesome. And I love all the emails. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. So I had a lot of requests to create a show around this particular topic. So your emails have been answered, ladies and gentlemen. Your emails have been answered. All right. So what I would find fascinating is if there was no such thing as the unknown, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if there was no such thing as the unknown and everything in the world was known? Now, it might be a lot to keep in your head if you're going to know that everything that's going to happen in your life when you knew it ahead of time. You'd probably need a real good organizer in your head and out of your head. But you'd never have any surprises. There'd be no more surprises ever. Like every Christmas, I'd know what my girlfriend is going to buy me. And I, of course, could buy her something of equal value, and that way I'd never feel inadequate or have to apologize for having bought her a small gift, like an electric drill or a workman's desk sander. You know, it's something that a girl needs on a daily basis. That's how, giving I am. It'd be great, if the unknown, if it didn't exist. When my girlfriend comes home from work, I wouldn't have to ask her, "Hey, how was your day, honey?" I'd already know before she came in the door, and that would give me ample time to think of some great, intelligent, heartfelt, sensitive thing to say when she tells me all about her tough day. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if there was no such thing as the unknown? I'd always know the best times to initiate sex, because now the unknown is the known, and I'd know when she's going to fake a headache, right? Because she's not interested in that evening. I'd know that ahead of time, and I could have a glass of water and a Tylenol ready. I'd know when she's going to ask me to take out the trash before she'd do it. So like I'd wait for 2 minutes before she's going to ask me. I would say, honey, let me take out the trash. Major brownie points there for knowing what she was thinking. By the way, that's ladies want us to know. In fact, it's kind of a detriment if we don't know. Which, knowing what she's thinking in reality is probably the only way to know ever what she's thinking if you have these magical powers. Otherwise, ladies, I hate to tell you, we don't know what you're thinking. And even after you explain it to us, we still don't know what you're thinking. Most of the time, I have no clue. Completely in the dark. A car without headlights. A deer stuck in the headlights. A horse with no name. A baby with no diaper. You know what I mean? Clueless, right? You get what I'm talking about, right? The only drawback to knowing the unknown that I could see, or having no unknown in life, the only drawback I can see to that is that, well, I'd never have to worry about anything ever again. And what's the point in living if you don't have anything to worry about? Like, I don't know about you guys, but in my life, I need to have stuff to worry about. Otherwise, my life has no purpose. And without all that worry, I'd know, if I didn't have that worry, then I'd probably know that I was on purpose. And besides, they say that the game of life, you got to play a big game. My only question is, who made up this thing of the game of life? And how do I know how big the game is?
Do you know what I've learned, ladies and gentlemen?
Actually, God, could you tell us what's the deal with the game of life?
Well, Dermot. Hello, everyone. This is God. It's really simple. The game of life doesn't exist. It's not real. It's just made up. There is no such thing as the game of life. I never created anything such the game of life. And so you never have to worry again. Whether you're playing too small or playing too big, I can tell you right now, you're playing exactly how you should be playing. So don't worry, be happy.
Thanks very much, God. Really appreciate that. Wow, that's really fascinating. The game of life is actually made up. That's really, who would have known that? But it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes total sense. They say if you're not feeling the fear, you're not playing a big enough game. And I used to think, well, who made that up? Like, who actually created that? I know it wasn't the big cheese upstairs. We just heard from him. So who made that up, that we have to play this big game of life? And if we're not feeling fear, we're not playing big enough. I want to go with the big cheese on that one. That there is no game. There's just life. In fact, you may not even think that there's a thing called life at all. Because what makes your life a reality is your thinking. You don't really have a life. You only think you do. But more on that later. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, we got a great show for you today. What if the unknown could be the fun known? We're going to talk about taking this idea of trying to control everything in our lives. And instead of trying to control things, we're going to start to play with some ideas. I'm going to share some stories. I'm going to share some content. I'm going to share some quotes. I'm going to share a few different things today to talk about this idea of making the unknown a fun place to live, making the unknown a fun place to experience, making the unknown the most funnest, if that's a word, the most playfulest, the most joyousest place that you could live your life from. That's the intention of our show. as always, the intention of every show, I'm a professional life coach, have been for many years. I'm also a trainer of life coaches. And the intention of our show is really simple. I'm a simple type of guy. Although if you talk to my little lady, she'd say I'm pretty complicated. But then I'd say she's pretty complicated. And she'd say I'm pretty simple but complicated. And I'd say she's complicated but simple but mostly complicated when she's not being simple. You get the idea. What the hell was I saying? Totally forgot what I was saying. Anyway. Oh yes, the intention of our show is to help you to get the best out of your life, to help you to get the most out of your experience of your life, to help you to get the best out of you. That's the intention of our show. Every week, that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. Now, I'm going to share some stories from clients that I've coached over the years, and brought a lot of these principles and these teachings and these insights and this information that I'm going to share with you today. So stay tuned, everyone. Boy, we got a great show for you. But first, let's play a little bit of the old Irish music now, just for a bit of happy this and a happy that. And it sounds something like that. There you are now. Happy Irish music. Is there anything better? Feel free to dance. It's totally fine with me, you know. Get up, you good thing. Can you make it faster, Dermot? Indeed I can. Indeed I can. Here we go. Let the shoes take off. Enough of that silliness. I love that. That's great stuff. That's called the happy Irish song for all you happy-go-lucky. Maybe you're not so happy today, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to be not happy. It's totally okay to just not be happy. Because I found a fascinating thing happens in life. You're happy, and then you're not happy, and then you're happy again. And then you're not happy, and then you're happy again. Then you're not happy, then you're happy again. And this pretty much plays out every day. At least it has done for the last 40-so years of my life. And I'm guessing, it's only an Irish, uneducated guess, that it happens the same way for you. So be okay with your good days. Be okay with your bad days. All right, here we go. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show just for men and all things manly. And if you want to have more information about my particular being a professional coach, workshops, all that type of stuff, you can go to, I just launched my website, thecelticcoach.com. So feel free to jump in. I'm very excited about it. Can you hear how excited I am? I'll get to the content of the show eventually. But if you want to see what I'm up to in the world, feel free to swing by thecelticcoach.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter. I send out a video every week, just a little video on simple tips for living a great life. Feel free to do that. And any comments at all, feel free to send them to thecelticcoach@gmail.com. All right. First part of our, here's a quote for you to start the show off. Here's a really beautiful quote. Now, it's from an unknown person. So speaking of the unknown, and I'm totally okay with that the person who penned this, it's unknown. I'm okay with that. I'm learning to live with the unknown. A smooth sea, S-E-A, never made for a skillful sailor. Now, isn't it fascinating that in our lives, let me share a little story with you. I did a walk across America. True as God. Did a walk across America back in 2008 and 9. Took me about 16 months to complete. 3,433 miles and 6 pairs of sneakers. or walking shoes or runners or whatever you want to call them. And it was an incredible experience. I walked across America. I gave talks about peace. I talked about how to use your thought, positive thinking, spirituality, health, you name it. I talked about everything but finances because I stay away from that. But I had just an incredible experience. But I was walking through the panhandle of Texas, and it was about 185 degrees, and I was about skin and bone. There was no water even in my bones, and I had about 10 blisters on my right foot, and I could not walk anymore. And so I decided, hey, I am done for the day. I am putting the feet up, and I felt, I have to say now, ladies and gentlemen, I felt so... I wanted to stop the walk. It was about halfway in. I wanted to give up. I thought this was the most stupidest idea an Irishman or any man could ever have to walk across America. I was doing it I was using Gandhi as my role model, and I was using it to make money for collect money for a school in India, to build a school in India. And in the middle of nowhere, next to somewhere, I found this little church. It's quite bizarre. There was only about 20 people in the town. I don't even remember the town now. And I sat down. The only place to get some shade was it had a beautiful overhang over the front door of the church. It was a little church. And I sat down and I fell asleep for 2 hours, knackered. And when I woke up, I sat there and I kind of started to sob a little bit because I was just like, I just want to go home. This is ridiculous what I'm doing here. And I haven't raised any funds for the school, and my health is not good. I'm not even barely halfway through, and I was done. And up to that point, I had been pushing to get a certain amount of hours of walking in every day. I was pushing to raise funds. I've been sending out newsletters and requests and phone calls, and you name it, I was doing it. And I had pushed so hard that I had just worn myself out because I was so afraid of not completing the walk. I was so afraid of not raising the money for the school. And all those things happened. But at that particular time, now, when I got up, I turned around just to have a look at the church door before leaving, before sobbing off to the next 25 miles. And there was a sign on the door. True as God, you wouldn't believe the feckin' sign on the door. Do you want to know what the sign said? I mean, I've forgotten, but it made for a great story, didn't it? No, I'm just kidding. It said, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. Now, that would really sum up our show today when we talk about how do we make the unknown the fun known. When nothing is sure, everything is possible. You see, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We want everything in our lives to be sure, right? But as the quote said, a smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. We need the ups and downs, like the painter, like the paint, a painter. He's up and down, right? That's a bad joke. But how about my life is like a paintbrush? It's up and down, up and down. How about my life is like a window cleaner up and down a ladder? All right, forget it. Like, I'm going to work on those jokes, I promise. But we want our lives to be smooth, don't we? We want to know that if we take an action step, it'll have a result. We want to know that if we decide to move forward on this project, on this idea, on this creative, whatever it is, if we do that, we expect this. There's always a result hanging at the end of an idea, isn't there? And you know what kills an idea quicker than a house falling on it? Is having a result attached to it. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking at the outcome and say, this is the outcome that I want to move towards. Nothing wrong with that. But when you have a result that you are just tooth and nails dug into, allowing nothing of the unknown to surface or to express itself or to be expressed in that idea, then typically what happens, and I've seen it, I've coached a lot of people, and I had one client who she didn't know what to do with her life, and she was constantly jumping around from thing to thing to thing to thing. And what we found out in the coaching was that she was doing this because she was afraid of it not working out. She was like, well, Dermot, if I put in 5 or 10 years and I don't get X, Y, and Z amount of money and a amount of press and everything else, then what's the point? But you see, a smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. You can sit at home and do nothing and have a nothing to do life. Or you can jump in and see what happens. The best cure for the unknown, ladies and gentlemen, is action, is putting yourself out there, and see what you discover. That's the magic. That's making the unknown the fun known. Putting yourself out there. Throw in some mud. See what sticks. You know what's fascinating is they talk to all these entrepreneurs, these guys in the world that are really up to something in the world, and they ask them, how did you become successful? And most of them said it wasn't through skill. Right. By the way, in the solution focused world or the self-development world, it's 90% psychology, 10% skill that creates success. Psychology meaning your frame of mind. What they found was, what these guys shared was, it's like, hey, I just threw some mud. If it didn't stick, I threw some more mud until something stuck. But I never knew what was going to stick. And you will never know what's going to stick unless you throw some mud. And you got to throw it more than once. So back to this lady. I coached her for about 3 months. At the end of that 3 months, she was crystal clear that it didn't matter what she did. All it mattered was that she began. Right? The best way to experience something is to begin. And this lady now is, she's just taken off. She went back to school and she got this degree to be, this lady who makes teas, grows plants and makes different herbal teas for people to solve different problems in the body and clean the blood and do all of that stuff. She got to a very clear place in what was going on that in her life. She got clear about what she wanted to do with her life. But even more so, she got clear that, hey, it doesn't matter what you do. It just matters that you start and see what happens. Put yourself out there and see what you discover. You know what's fascinating? Did you ever wonder? Did you ever think that a tree worries about growing, whether it's going to grow or not? You ever stop to think about that? Does a tree worry about whether it's going to grow or not? It doesn't, because there's an intelligence running this universe, and it runs everything. Your heart beats X amount of times per minute. You don't need to do anything. The heart pumps gallons of blood through your body every day. You don't need to do anything. Your brain is an electrical mechanism that runs on whatever it runs on, electricity. You don't have to do anything. Here's something. I pondered this morning. Now, it's weird, I know. I gotta tell you it's a little weird, but I pondered it. Did you ever think if a squirrel worries about whether he's going to find more nuts or whether he's going to find his nuts today? And by the way, here's a side note. Squirrels, they forget 80% of where they hid their nuts. So, hey, the next time the little lady says to you, hey, where did you park the car? You say, I don't know. And she'll say, really? And you say, yeah, it's like the squirrels. 80% of the nuts that they bury, they've forgotten where they are. I don't know if that's going to get you off the hook, but, it might. Who knows? But try it anyway. Just don't tell them I said anything. You didn't get that from the Celtic coach, okay? Now, so when we're talking about the making the unknown the fun known, the first thing, everyone, and I'm going to wrap up this part, is just to throw stuff out there and see what happens. I see it in coaching over and over and over and over again. People doing 100,000 different things, thinking that if they do this and they do it for a couple of months, and that didn't work, and then they go and they try something else. Oh, that didn't work, and they go and they try something else. And then they come to me for coaching. And I say, Dermot, I just don't know what to do with my life. And I say, well, what have you been doing? I've done this, I've done that, I've done 100 different things, and I still don't know my purpose. I don't know if there is any purpose to life, except maybe to live it and have fun while you're living it. But in terms of a purpose, what I found in my coaching is that most people are already living their purpose. They're already helping people. They're already serving people. They're already raising kids as best as they can. They're already doing their best in their lives to pay their bills and to stay above water. Clients that I have are building businesses. They're already on purpose. I don't think there's any God-ordained purpose. Maybe self-realization, I don't know. But when it comes to being up to something in the world, to creating something in the world, and allowing the unknown to be the fun known, the best place to start, ladies and gentlemen, is just to start. It's like, when does a writer become a writer? Well, when they start writing. When does a butcher become a butcher? When he starts cutting meat. When does a squirrel find his nuts? Well, when he finds them, and not before. So this innate intelligence that's running the universe, I think it can help to keep you on track. And by the way, I don't ever think that you're off track. It feels like that. Tell me about it. But I don't think we're ever off track, even when we think we are. All right, let's play a little bit of the happy Irish music, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show just for men and all things manly. Welcome, everyone. We'll be right back after this happy tune. Welcome back, everyone. You listen to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show for men. And there's a lot of ladies listening out there. I know. It's totally fine. Totally fine. All right. Here's something beautiful that I heard the other day. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I want to share it with you. And it's from a guy called Michael Neil, Neill. And he is doing some great stuff. In fact, the second part of the show today, I'm going to play an audio from one of his Living from the Inside Out CDs. So I'll play that a little bit later as the second part of the show instead of music today. But think about this. You can do amazing things in the world when it doesn't matter. You can do amazing things in the world when it doesn't matter. Now, let's talk about that for a moment, because that is a pretty powerful statement. One of the things that happens with people, and I see it in coaching all the time, is that they come to me and the client will say, Dermot, I want to change my job. I hate my job. and I want to change my job. I've had this idea to, start my own little, whatever it might be, coffee shop or a little business, washing windows or whatever it might be. I've had it for a long time, but biggest dream killer. But I don't think it's really possible. Because I have this job and I got to pay the bills and, got a kid coming and I can't just give up this job and, it's going to take a lot of years to build up the business and I don't even know if it's worth it. And I'll usually say something like, well, let me ask you, would it be worth it for you to stay in this job for the next 20 years? And right away, the client will say no. Power of a great question, by the way. And so we'll do some coaching around that. And inevitably, I will find within that coaching session, there's some fear of the unknown. There's some fear or belief playing out that, hey, I can't have this because I don't have this, or I don't have this because I don't have the skills, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the energy, or I don't have the connections, or I don't have the blah, 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 blah money, blah, 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 blah. That to me, now, there's a practical side to that, of course. They may not have the money, but they always, if we're connected to this infinite intelligent that can tell trees how to grow and tell them how to lose their leaves and grow their leaves and help the squirrel find that 20% of nuts that he loses, well, then it can help us to find a job. It can help us to create a life. It can help us to change our jobs and move into something new. It can give us the ideas. It can give us the resources. So I always hold clients as, hey, you may not have the resources or the intelligence or the capability or the money right now, but you have the resources within you to create those things, to find those things, to make those things happen. And that's the difference. But there's always this fear of the unknown. But we really could do amazing things in the world when it doesn't matter. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean, well, I'll do this, but it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work out or not? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the expectations, the results, the attachments, the fear that we put on a project, person, place, or thing that we want to experience, create, or have, or make. And it stops us from moving forward. But if you could take a step back and just say, hey, I'm going to create this thing. Like, let me ask you, did you create your babies with a purpose? Like, hey, I'm going to create the babies with a purpose so that when they're 2, they're going to be out picking spuds. When they're 5, I'm going to have them delivering logs and coal. And by the way, I was doing all those things when I was like 5 or 6. My old man had me doing all those things. Not when I was 2, though, but I was picking spuds when I was like, 6 or 7. Yeah, my old man was pretty crazy. But there was no purpose to it. It was just like, hey, this would be a cool thing to do and experience. You didn't say, well, now, if this doesn't work out, what am I going to do with the kids? I'm going to have to get rid of them somehow. Or, if this doesn't work out, there's no putting those kids back in. In the same way that you could do amazing things in the world if you didn't, when it doesn't matter, when you don't have all these things preordained, prearranged, pre-attached results or whatever, when you just say, hey, I'm going to do that and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to throw some stuff out there and see what comes back. Some of the most successful people in the world will tell you, as I shared earlier, that it wasn't through skill and all that. They just threw out some stuff and saw what happens. Now, if you don't believe me, look at YouTube or look at Twitter or some of these things where they get 1 million hits for some stupid carrot, jumping over a bowl of milk or whatever it might be. I haven't seen that on YouTube, but hey, now that I say it, it sounds like a great idea to get 1 million hits. But you see all sorts of silliness. Those people created that just for the pure enjoyment of creating it. They didn't know that it would matter. They didn't put any attachment on it. They say, hey, this is a stupid thing I'm going to throw out into the world and see what happens. You can do amazing things in the world when it doesn't matter what the results will be. You can do amazing things in the world when it doesn't matter. But most people have high standards and even higher expectations, and it kills the dreams. Raise your standards, step up your game, absolutely, but lower your expectations. People that I train online for coaching, after I train organizations and people to do coaching in their organizations or to create their own coaching practices, And after 3 classes, they say, this doesn't work. I say, how many clients have you coached? One. You've coached 1 client and it doesn't work. Yeah. You may want to coach 100 clients and then come back to me. And by the way, you're not allowed to say this doesn't work until you've coached at least 100 clients. Think about it this way. Would you take your child out to teach him how to, or her, or them, or her, him, whoever it might be, teach him how to ride a bicycle, and then as he was starting to ride the bicycle and falling and getting back on, falling and getting back, you ran beside him shouting, "You suck! You'll never get this! You suck! You'll never get this!" You wouldn't do that, would you? Although you do it to yourself every day, don't you? Yeah, we do. We do it to ourselves every day. We begin to learn something, and then we think, oh, this is not going to work. Because it's that unknown part of, hey, is this going to work out? Am I going to get what I want from this? Am I going to get a result from this? Am I going to get something that's going to make me happy from this? But if you can throw stuff out there in the world and just make the unknown fun, say, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to see. People say, what are you doing that for? No reason. No reason whatsoever, buddy, except just to have some fun and throw it out there. And you know the people that are up to something in this world and that make mega money in this world? They're the people that just throw stuff out there and see what happens. Now, you know, business plan and all those things and getting organized, those things are all part of the part and package. But on a fundamental level, when we're talking today about making the unknown the fun known, it's really just about taking the first step and see what happens. I said earlier, the best cure for the unknown is just to get started. It's a little thing called action. All right. Here's something I want to share from, again, it's Michael Neal from The Space Within. He said 3 things about the mind that I could rely on. When I know, I know. And when I don't know, I don't know. There's a deeper wisdom available to me at all times which I can hear most easily when I'm in a settled, reflective state of mind. And the third thing, I know that I'll know when I know. Now, they're pretty profound statements because here's the thing. When we don't know, we try to know. And when we know, we tell ourselves we don't know. And when we know, we tell ourselves that we don't know, but maybe there's a better way to know. And we push and we pull and we push and we pull. Instead of just relaxing and say, hey, in this moment, I don't know, and it's okay that I don't know. And in this moment, I'll know when I know, and not a second or a minute before or after. And be okay with that. For some reason, our human race, I don't know where it happened. Maybe, I don't know, in the 60s maybe? No, it wouldn't have been the 60s. Maybe the 80s, I don't know, it was the haircut. We got this idea that we have to know everything. And we got this idea that we have to know now. And we got this idea that if I don't know, I must be stupid. Or there must be something wrong with me. Or I have to change something because I don't know and I should know. And if we were to take a step back from that and just say, look, I'll know when I know. In this moment, I don't know. And it's a great thing to say if you don't know. Just say, you don't know. Like I've gotten to say that now in my coaching, right? When clients ask me something, I say, God, it's a great question. I don't know. I don't know what's running this whole planet. I can call it infinite intelligence. I can call it wisdom. I can call it the big cheese, the head honcho, God. I can call it whatever the heck. I don't think it matters much to God, whatever the hell I call it. But just knowing that there is something that's running the universe and it's not me, that kind of takes the pressure off. It kind of relaxes me a little bit. It kind of, if I can sit with that and say, you know, okay, so if he's running the planets, she, he, it, whatever it is, they, we, it, whatever it is, we'll call it Bob. If Bob's running the planet, then I think Bob can help me to get a new job. But we got to twist it a little bit. We got to like relax the grip, the death grip. The Darth Vader grip on our lives. Because that's what we have on our lives, the Darth Vader grip. Anytime we want to know something and we're in the unknown and we want to make it known, we put the death grip on it, don't we? It's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger grip where it breaks your hand. Right? If we can relax the grip, it's like the hand in the cookie jar. You know, you relax, you'll be able to take the cookie out. If we can be okay with not knowing, even for a day, if you're struggling with something, you're struggling with forcing a problem or forcing something, try letting go of it just for a day. Like say to yourself, hey, today I'm just not gonna run my universe. I'm not going to be in charge of my life for one day. I'm going to take a break from my life. Great question to ask yourself. Am I in control of my life? And most people will tell you that they are, but the truth is they're not. What's life? Thought, word, action? Are you in control of your thoughts? Not really. We live in a universe of thought. Thoughts come and go. You can't control them. Try controlling your thoughts for like a minute. 10 seconds. It's impossible. Are you in control of your words that you speak? No. Every day I say stuff, I'm like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. What about your actions? Can you put down the wine when you need to? Can you not bite your nails when you want to? Can you not drink that cup of tea when you really need to drink that tea? Or drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is. We're not in control of anything, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's surprising. It was pretty surprising to me. But it's the truth. We're not in control of anything. What I got for you. All right. Here's a funny story. Here's a funny story about the known to the unknown. And the magic of being in the unknown. Last year I flew to Ireland. And 2 days before I was flying out to Ireland, would you believe it, I put my back out. And now when I say out, I mean out the back door. It was out. You know, it was like the Jimmy Connors, the whatever you call that, McEnroe, out. The ball was out. Well, my back was out. And I was lying on the floor, and I was going home. My sister was getting married. Pretty big deal. And I'm lying on the floor, and I say to my little lady, I say, listen, I said, we're going to have to upgrade our tickets to first class because I can't sit for more than a minute or two. I've got to be lying down. In first class, you know, you can lie down on the chairs. But the tickets were like $10,000. They were something ridiculous. We said, all right, well, let's see what we can do when we were told that if, you know, you can try and haggle a price with them when you get to the airport. And so we went to the airport and we were haggling with them for about 20 minutes. No budge. No, nothing happening, amigo. And so I said, okay, this is terrible. What are we going to do? And we had even tried to pay for one class ticket with my credit card. My credit card would not work. Now, there was money in the account. Ha ha, right, Dermot, there was money in the account. Sure there was. Tell us that on the radio. But there was money in the account. No, there wasn't. Who said that? Get out. And that didn't even work because we were going to upgrade to one. I was going to pay for one ticket, one seat on the first class. And it wouldn't work. So I said, you know what, Shay? We just got to be okay with not knowing what the hell is going to happen here. And would you believe it? We went downstairs, 5 minutes to getting on the flight, over the telecom, over the thing, came this.
Dermot Butterly, please come to the front desk.
And I thought, oh, what the hell now is going on? Went up to the front desk, and the little lady at the front desk who was trying to, get us the tickets earlier for the first class. She said, hey, I talked to my boss, and my boss said to give you and your girlfriend first class tickets for nothing. I couldn't believe it. My tongue came out of my mouth and it fell on the ground, which was about 5 feet, 4 inches from my mouth to the ground. It hit the ground. And then I had my little lady roll it back up, put it back in my mouth. Could not believe it. But you see, if we can sit in the unknown, and it's not easy, trust me, it's not easy. I was looking at 11 hours on a plane, and I was in a lot of pain to go home to Ireland, not knowing what that was going to be like. Now, I'm not saying that it always works out for your betterment. Sometimes it doesn't, but yet that is for your betterment. You ever notice that? Some things go south and you think, oh, wow, I actually got something, more than I bargained for out of that. And not only do we get the first class tickets there, we got first class tickets back. And I also met my hero, Shane McGowan from the Pogues. He was in a little place in the middle of nowhere next to somewhere, and we happened to be there exactly at the same time at a little coffee shop on this island. No joke. On this little island in the middle of nowhere, on the southwest side of Ireland, and he was there at that particular time. We said hello to him and met him, my idol. So we gotta be okay with the unknown. The best cure for the unknown is to throw some stuff out there and see what happens. Think about it this way. Like if you were going to sit and bake a cake, right? And you spent an hour or 2 hours putting all the ingredients, mixing it all up, putting the powder in and the eggs and the milk and the water and the salt and the ginger and the this and the that, and you made a cake. Because that was a terrible song about a cake, but hey, it just came to me, so I'm going to go with it. And you put all the ingredients in the bowl, you whisk them up, and you spend all your energy whisking them up and all the time, and maybe the kids helped and they messed everything through. They don't actually help, but they got to throw powder everywhere. And then you took the bowl and you put it nicely into the beautiful dish for the oven, and then you took the dish and you threw it in the trash. Would you do that? No, of course not, Dermot. I wouldn't do something as stupid and silly as that. Really? Isn't it fascinating, though, that we have a project and we start working on it and then we just, this is not going to work out. We let it go. No, I'm not feeling this anymore. It's not. Don't think it's going to work out. I've done it 4 times and don't seem to be getting any results. My invitation for you is to throw stuff out there, see what you discover, and hang in there. Rome wasn't built in a day. I tell coaches, hey, coach people do 100 coaching clients. When I was first coaching, I coached everyone. Went to the homeless shelter. I coached everyone I could get my hands on just to get the practice. Because red alert, everyone. The only way to learn is just to practice. It's just part of how the makeup of life is done. And when we practice, we get better. That's it. You wouldn't scream at the kid because he's starting to walk and he falls down. Oh, you suck. You're never going to get that. Forget about it. No, you know that inherently learning is something that is innate to us. It's something that we come in with. We're built to learn, right? We're like a dictionary, built to give, to learn, to express, to have meaning. I think the very idea that we're on the planet is purpose enough. Hey, I got here. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal. I got here. All righty. Let me see here. We're going to play, let's take a little break here. We're going to just play some of this happy Irish music. And then I'm going to come back with the top 11 list. Seamus, are you out there? Come on, Seamus. We're going to do this top 11. Let me give it a second there, but just hold on. Come on, Seamus. right, if you just joined us, welcome. You're listening to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show just for men and all things manly. All right, we've got about 6 minutes left in our show today, so going to wrap up the show in just a few minutes. But before all of that, you know him as Seamus O'Brien, the lucky leprechaun from Ireland. Yes, I know him as the guy who comes to the show every week, and he's usually late, and he's usually doing something in the background that's quite annoying and never on time for anything. Dermot, I'm on time today, haven't I? You're not actually on time today, Seamus. The show started at 1, and you got here at 1:52, which is about 2 minutes ago. So you're close, Seamus. You're only 52 minutes late. Yeah, well, it's better than being 53 minutes late, isn't it? Seamus, will you come over here now? What are you doing over there? Doing me yoga. Yeah, I don't even want to know, Seamus. You're doing your yoga. Seamus, leprechauns don't do yoga. That's just silliness. They do now, Dermot. I'm going to bring yoga, tantra yoga into Ireland, to the neighbourhood. Well, the rainbow neighbourhood. Seamus, I don't know where you get these. Come over here now, will you? And sit down here and do the top 11 list. You got a top 11 list for us today, you do? Yeah, I do. Hang on a second there. Let me just sit down here. Seamus, try not to break anything, would you? No, I won't there now, Dermot. Don't worry. All right, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Seamus, yeah, I'm doing yoga. Would you believe it? Doing yoga. Yeah. Anyway, Seamus O'Brien here with the top 11 list. People always ask us, why have you got a top 11? I said, well, because everyone else has a top 10, so we're Irish. We do it one better. All right, top 11 things of you don't need to know. Top 11 list of things you don't need to know about life. All right, here we go. Number 11. Wouldn't life be great if we all had instant replay? So I could sit down with my girlfriend and see who really won the argument and why. That'd be great. She could also use instant replay just to remind me of what I said 2 minutes ago. All right, number 10. The best things in life are free, no doubt. For everything else, use money. Ladies, did you know that men slip into a coma every time you talk about your feelings? That is true, actually. That is true. Or when my girlfriend asks me to ask about my feelings, I feel like going into either samadhi or coma. One or the other. Number 8. Life is strange. In the 60s, would you believe it? I took it myself. People took acid to be weird. And now, in the 2020s, people take Prozac just to be normal. It's a strange world, a strange world. Number 7, the greatest invention ever made, in my view anyway, the snooze button. I like that one. That's a pretty good one, Seamus. Not bad. Thanks very much. Although I don't need your approval on my top 11 list. Thank you very much. All right, number 6. The timing of life really is miraculous. Did you know that the average man has 8 to 10 erections per night, and they're all perfectly timed to coincide with the times when he needs to go and use the bathroom? Yeah, what is with that, I wonder? God, what's all that about?
That has nothing to do with me, Seamus.
Well, thanks very much, God. Now you tell me. All right. Number 5. Ladies, there are 2 things in life you have no control over. One is your husband, your boyfriend, and the other is the weather. And men, there are 2 things in life that you have no control over. One is understanding your woman, and the other is everything else. Number 4, how do you know when you have won at the game of life? Do you get a prize? Does someone tell you? Does someone tell you that you've won? Wouldn't it be crazy if you won and no one told you? Number 3, my mother always told me life is like a dream. That's great, ma'am. Let me know when it's time to wake up, would you? Number 2, my best friend at school in Ireland had a special sole purpose. He was there to serve as a warning to others. The number one thing you absolutely do not need to know about life. Nothing in life, ladies and gentlemen, travels faster in the known universe than a bad check. I'd add to that a rash. In Ireland, you know, when you get a rash, like on your leg or something, it travels very fast, you know. Hair loss, that travels pretty quick too. Had hair once. But anyway, all right, you've been listening to the Celtic Coach Radio Show, an Irish talk show just for men and all things manly. I'm Seamus O'Brien. Cheers and good luck. Well done, Seamus. Well done indeed. God, Seamus, you're getting better. You're getting better, Seamus. There's no question. Ladies and gentlemen, Seamus O'Brien there with the top 11 things you absolutely don't need to know about life. All right. Let's wrap up our show today. We're talking about making the unknown the fun known. Now hopefully we've had a few laughs today. I'm crossing my fingers that you had a few laughs today. But let's recap on a few things. You can really do amazing things in the world, everyone, when it doesn't matter. When you don't put your expectations on what you're creating in the world. People want to be ahead or they say they're behind. But you know what? Being ahead or being behind, it's just a thought. It's not a fact. There is no ahead. There is no behind. There is no path of life except the one that you create, the one that you forge, the one that you purposely move in. We try in our lives to package this, to make the unknown a predictability. We try to package the unknown as a non-possibility. We try to package the unknown as something that we can control. And if we can just realize for a moment that even the unknown is not real, it's really just a thought. I don't think I can do that. I do think I can do that. Known and unknown. I don't know what to do, the unknown. I do know what to do, the known. We make it up as we go along. It's a lot like life, isn't it? It's like when you look at kids playing, they're just making it up as they go along. They have no expectations of the results. They have no expectations of what they're going to get from playing the game. They just throw stuff out there for the fun of it. We can learn a lot from kids. We can learn a lot by just watching kids, how they play, how they create in the world. If we truly want to live in the unknown or make the unknown the fun known, the best way that I know how to do that is to take a step back and just enjoy the unknown. To throw some stuff out there and see what happens. To step in, get wet and see what happens. To put some stuff out there and see what you discover. Throw some mud against the wall and see what sticks. Think, act, create. For fun, not results. And you will open up to a world that is nothing but the fun known. We all want to be free in this life. We all want to, men say it all the time, we want to have freedom. We want to live with freedom and purpose and passion. But the thing that will give us the freedom, the thing that gives us the passion, the purpose, it all stems from our thoughts, and we can change our thoughts at any point in life. We have the permission, or we can give ourselves the permission, to change our thoughts about anything, anytime, anywhere. And so it is with the unknown. We can change our thoughts from living of a place of fear and worry and stress because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what to do. We don't know how we're going to pay the rent. We don't know what the next step is. And if we can trust in that innate intelligence that's within us and within everything in life, that beats our hearts, that runs planets, that takes care of the weather, that grows the trees and helps the squirrel find his nuts, even though it's only 20%. But hey, that's still a pretty good deal. If we can take a break from controlling the universe from a day, you'll start to see some movement. You'll start to get some insights. You'll start to have new thoughts, which is what an insight is. You'll start to have some new thoughts around how this whole thing runs, revolves, evolves, expresses itself. But you got to be willing every now and then to get into the passenger seat. And if you're feeling really good, you can get into the back seat and allow this innate intelligence to drive you to some of the most coolest places on the planet. Just when I shared about flying to Ireland, I had no idea we were going to get first-class tickets for free there and back. No idea. No idea we were going to meet Shane McGowan, one of the guys I wanted to meet my whole life. But we got to be willing to, and I'm not saying trust God. I'm just saying that there's an intelligence that runs the universe. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like electricity. I know that it works, but don't ask me how it works or who the hell created it or what it looks like. But I know it's there. So the next time that unknown comes up, that fear of the unknown, replace the fear with curiosity. So I really appreciate everyone listening in today. If you want to know more about my coaching or any of that stuff, you can go to thecelticcoach.com and feel free to jump around. There's lots of videos and wonderful things on there that I put on the site. I'm very proud of it, actually, very proud of it. And appreciate your feedback. Send me an email, celticcoach@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. And let me know if there's anything that you want me to share on the show. I have a lot of emails that ask me to share different topics on the show. This was one of them today. So send me an email. Shoot me an email. Say, hey, Dermot, I like. Could you talk about this on the next show or on a show coming up? We got Dr. Mark Howard coming up in September. We've got Steve Chandler coming up in October. Some really wonderful interviews coming up. So stay tuned for all of that. Anyway, you've been listening to The Celtic Coach. Think big, have fun, stay curious, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers, and good luck, everyone.